we have the technology, Michael Phoenix, here in Wallachia.
We certainly do. It is there. We've got great technology, Jonathan. Better every day, in fact. No Earth Spirit production, though, John. Nothing for Earth Spirit. He gets nothing. What's the point? Nobody's going to pick him anyway. Why waste the time and money?
Ooh, this is rather interesting as well coming out from Mobe. He does take the Frost Dragon. We've seen a little bit of this coming out. This is a good way to mitigate that healing out with the IO Tether. So it's a nice solution for that. It's not something you'd expect. It's almost like almost feels like an Abaddon kind of pick, except you're playing DK, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the lane. Not having that physical damage read fire, not having that minus armor on hit does mean your DK's output isn't as amazing, but again, to counteract the IO, this is going to pay off dividends later on in the game.
It only will. See if they do go for an early fight. The smoke is there. They're running right into each other. In fact, Ghost, he's not reacting quick enough. Ghost now realizing they were there, but does get sharded in. He's actually blocked by the tree and the ice shard, but he has backup incoming. Fly in pretty big danger. First blood being blocked by Zibe for now, but Smell is still chasing. They actually dispose Zibe instead. If it's not going to be Fly, it'll be you, Sand King. And Zibe, well, he's running for the bounty. He's not going to get it. And I guess the one bright side is Omar gets first blood. So it's not the worst case scenario for Avulus.
It's not, but you're happy enough still to find that bonus here on the side of NGX for sure. Like having a Ringmaster with more regen or even just faster boots is going to be quite a nuisance in lane. That's something you have to consider now walking into these lanes. Looking at mid, of course, you've got the DK versus the Puck matchup, and this is a relatively stable lane for Sumail, especially since you're playing up against Frost Dragon. You don't have to worry about the little extra you get on the Breed Fire with it reducing, becoming physical as well, and having that synergy with the right clicks of DK. So it's going to be maybe even a little bit more manageable for Sumail overall. Maybe by level 2, once you can dodge out the Breed Fires as they come out. It's going to be something that Puck is not going to feel too bad about. Of course, shoving away Mobe is still a tall task to ask for with how tanky a DK can be. So you should expect stability out from Mobe, but again, you shouldn't expect too much to be happening for either side. It's just going to be very stable for both. Up top, this is the lane that can get exciting by level 3. Like you've got the Rebound, you've got Dispose, you've got Tether. There is some ways to play. You do have the Medigun for GH instead of the Kritzkrieg, so you don't have that added damage, but once you do have the value point in the Rebound and you get more points in Bodyguard for damage, you do have to show respect for Ghost. Like, yes, you have this jump potential as well with Desire and Sibe. They've got the Burst Strike, they've got Tag Team later on, they've got the Shards and Snowball to play with. But Ghost always has repositional play himself, and again, he's got some good damage if you're not too careful here.
Oh, absolutely. Never underestimate this this duo, that's for sure. It'll be very, very scary indeed. Bottom lane, Omar getting chased a little bit here by Fly and Smiling Knight. They're going to actually try and turn here onto Smiling Knight with the Reflection and the Empowerment Arts, but the slow is not quite enough. Noob will still be able to farm very nicely, though, in this Metamorphosis, so he won't really mind at all, just kind of spamming it off cooldown. And speaking of this bottom lane, it is a pretty even affair so far. Smiling Knight has found himself slightly ahead in terms of CS, but nothing really to write home about yet.
Not quite. I do like that Smiling Knight is playing a little bit more conservatively on this Luna. Like, level 2 is up, he's not leveling up the Lunar Orbit or the Glaives at all. He's just kind of holding back, knowing that it's going to be annoying to play into the Reflection with the Glaives up. So, you just have to sit back, save the...
There was a big chase onto Desire, but eventually Zibe does decide to just pop the Burrow Strike and ensure they can't continue the chase. But there is already a lot of fear here at the top lane. Just they don't want to be run down by this Marciaio, even at level 2.
Again, it's a very capable duo as level 3 starts to approach. The timings are starting to come in. We've been looking at mid. Sumail, again, having a little bit of a rougher time, I think, overall. Like, again, the Puck normally does draw even. This is a bit of a wash. Mobe 20-8. Sumail at half the value, 10-2. Not going to bode well into that earlier 6 lining up here for Mobe into the poke on the tower, which, to be fair, isn't as devastating with Frost Dragon, but still is something DK excels at no matter which facet you take. So we'll have to kind of watch that. Up top again, a little bit of that aggression showing up.
Oh, we'll jump in onto Zibe. They were initially going on to Desire, but Zibe did intervene, so instead they'll choose him. Zibe trying to run away. Looks like he's still in a bit of danger, but does make it out for now. And will not actually go down. They are lacking the detection required to see through the sandstorm. So happy days. They will survive again, but the aggression is starting to get very annoying here on the side of Avulus in this off lane, because they just can't do anything. We'll see Desire try to pull a creep wave now, I think, but it's a pretty rough time for this poor old Sand King.
Yep. It's been slow going, and that's not normally what you'd expect in a melee matchup for Sand King. But not really able to overwhelm the healing from Tether on GH. In fact, they've been zoned out pretty hard as well. In terms of that, EXP Desire just cutting GH off, trying to poke him out, but your Tusk is stuck at 2, the IO is already 3, you're getting a free lane out for Ghost. He's going to get that free farm into the phase boots relatively quick here. And everything you could ask for is coming out for NGX. Outside of that mid lane, which Mobe again is working wonders in comparison to Sumail on Puck, you are kind of winning out everywhere. Like that bot lane for Noob, starting to ramp up. Smiling Light still, again, saving the skill points, not giving the Moonglaves out, doesn't want to give that extra value with a reflection, but it also slows down his own farm on his Luna. He's still doing a good job keeping up, but that is impacting some of that laning presence here as well, which it's a smart move to make, but you still get some of that effect out for Noob anyhow. Like, he gets the level into Conjure Image a little bit earlier on, he gets the leave Reflection level 1 because he knows the Glaives aren't coming out, it comes out now. From Smiling Knight, knowing that it's not a higher level reflection Noob has gone for.
Oh, big stun from the Centaur. My goodness. Get the pull off eventually. Looking at Zibe again on the Sand King, Johnny's just jungling at this point. It's a pretty rough time for him. He just literally can't be in lane anymore. So he's just relegated himself to the triangle. Good news is for Avulus, Mobe's having a great time on this DK, completely uncontested, and that is to be expected. It is a Dragon Knight versus a Puck matchup, so there's not much Sumail can do to try and slow the farm pace down of Mobe. The positive for NGX, though, in that case, is you don't have the Corrosive Dragon. So you don't really have to worry too much about the towers going down too quick, as GH does get caught looking for a tether, does get it very nicely. They could not really stop him with the snowball in time. So GH going to be just fine to escape. And again, with Mobe, without the Corrosive Dragon, these tier 1s, they're going to be feeling a lot safer than they should have. GH, chased again, Desire. Gonna go for this one, and it looks like he should have it. GH still looking for a tethered target, waiting for Ghost, and Ghost is barely gonna get there. Right in the nick of time. Ghost will make it in. GH will survive another time. And even now the pressure onto the tier 1 tower, like they've got the siege creep just hitting away. They've got the Shrine of Wisdom coming up soon as well. The GH is not gonna quite make it, but it won't matter because Omar's already there. And sadly, Avulus are the ones that are going to have to let it go, as both Shrines of Wisdom will go the way of NGX. And they'll just continue pressuring the tier 1 tower. There's just not really much reason to stop, because they can't actually defend this. You've still got a level 5 Sand King here. Ghost is just about to hit level 6. It's one creep away. And it seems like they won't quite finish off the tier 1, but with the amount of damage you've dealt, you'll come back another time happily. It's no problem. TP's coming in though, top lane. They want to try and fight. Ghost will be the target. They'll jump in. Mobe's there, but a nice jump away just before the stun does come in. Ghost, can he make it out? He might have to turn and fight. They'll get the escape backed off. Ghost is still trying to run with the stick charges. He does get a bit of healing going. Now the Sunder! Noob! Oh, he saves the day perfectly! Mobe! Mobe, what can you do now? Oh, what a perfect Sunder from Noob. Just everything to keep Ghost alive. Sumail will walk away with a double. And that's just going to be salt in the wound of Avulus. How revolting. Meanwhile, Zibe still being chased down here by the supports of NGX, but it looks like he's okay. They'll leave him alone. The tier 1 tower as well, not going to quite go down. Noob can't get it done with that level 1 metamorphosis on his own. But it won't matter now. NGX sitting at 0-3 with the 1k advantage, and they're still pressuring. They haven't really backed off yet. The good news is Smiling Knight is free farming this whole time. So if you're Avulus, at least you can say to yourselves, like, hey, things are going kind of bad, but at least our Luna is free farming the jungle. She's second in net worth only to Samel right now, and we are going to have a lovely look at the highlights of that previous team fight. And as you can see, Ghost, I don't think deserved to survive this in any way, shape, or form, but just the amount of saves they had ready for him proving to be too much. And just when they had him, Noob comes in and cleans him up, gives him another chance at life, and well, poor old Avulus, just nothing they could do about it. So unfortunate. That's gonna be tough that's a tough pill to swallow, that one. Not very fun whatsoever. In case you're wondering, by the way, John Xfire has disappeared again, but I'm sure he'll be back very, very soon. Is Avulus now back to the drawing board, back to the farming game? Big concern, of course, is the fact that, again, this Marcy is going to be online a lot quicker than, say, your POS 1 Luna is going to be. Ghost already getting quite close to now having the full armlet up and has the Orb of Destruction ready in the neutral item slot, has an Orb of Corrosion ready. Like, he's got a lot of damage, as is on this Marcy. And so he can choose to get involved early on if he does want, and I'm sure he will. Meanwhile, the rest of NGX currently hanging around in the mid lane. Smoke will be popped here by Omar. Sumel will be in that smoke as well. Seems like they will head into that Radiant jungle. Closest target to them right now is Mobay, but instead they're going to head directly south where they might find Smiling Knight. That's a big target. That's the one you really want, and the jump is there from Sumel. Silence immediate. Fear is out from Omar. Coil committed. He'll use the Eclipse trying to get something for his trouble. Fly even trying to help out now. Does he buy him enough space and time? It looks like he actually does. Defense Matrix proving to be enough for now, but the chase continues. Samel still looking, but will not find the Luna. Fly will save the day. It will, of course, cost him his own life, but it is well worth the sacrifice to keep his Luna alive.
Yeah. I like this tempo that we're seeing out here, Mike. I know I missed a lot of it, but
he's okay. Barely surviving the tier 1 tower. So that'll be the 4th kill for NGX now, as Avulus once again kind of yet to get on the board. This is all off the back of the fact that Zibe's just had a horrendous laning stage as the Sand King, so you don't really have an off laner to play off of. Zibe, he'll just be sitting back and trying to farm that Blink Dagger to really start to get involved with his squad. Maybe they can find GH, but no, he'll just tether away. Hello, John.
Hello, Mikey. It kind of goes back
Jonathan.
to... Sorry about that. I forgot I didn't turn on my intercom here. I did miss a lot of that. You know, I was just saying that I really like seeing this aggression coming out from NGX, and your point about the Sand King waiting for the blink, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the draft, right? Like this lack of control, this lack of ways of pinning down, especially Sumail, who can just dance around now after the laning phase. Your control here is lacking from the side of NGX. You're reliant on that blink timing of Mobay. You're reliant on that blink timing as well of Zibe into the Yags for some damage. Mobay is actually looking for an armlet first as well, so he wants to try to sustain in these fights instead, which is an interesting way to go about it, leaving all of the pressure on Zibe and to an extent onto Desire as well, who is also trying to rush the blink. But these control issues will remain. At the very least for Avulus, they are keeping up in farm. You're still getting that steady build-up on Smiling Knight. You don't have a huge advantage on Ghost, who also opted for the armlet first, not going for something like the Battle Fury Marcy that you sometimes tend to see on POS 1. But this does allow that early aggression to really kick in, especially now that you've got your value point in the Unleash. Fly.
Oh, top lane, Fly trying his best to survive through this. Ghost might need an escape route out now. The healing though from GH is pretty high, so get the Will of Wonder down. Snowball out, GH, he's actually saved by the escape back of Omar. Desire now the one too far, but he's got help from Mobay. Ghost still going down, but here comes Noob. You've got the Sunder. Noob will jump in. Reflection out onto Mobay, but he's going to be just fine for now. Sumel now with a coil available, but is not jumping. Surprisingly, nobody ties up at this top lane. Everybody makes it up.
It's a bigger commitment out from Avulus, though. That's the Eclipse down, that's Epicenter down, that's a Dragon Form thrown down, whereas for NGX, they only really drop down the Unleash and the Wheel of Wonder. They still have a lot to play with. Sumail could still go with his Flame Foil already.
It's a Dragon Knight you're going after, but they're going to give it a crack. And in fact, Mobay is really not that tanky, especially when Ghost moves in. Desire trying to snipe GH, cannot get it. This is so tough. I mean, you've got this global just presence all the time as Fly now going down. Noob to take that kill. It's the thing with Pos 1 Marcy, John. You tend to be able to play pretty fast.
That you can. And again, they're doing a great job of it on NGX without expending too much. Like, they know Eclipse, Epicenter is down, so they have this angle in with Sumail. And Avulus can't fight back. They're reliant on Eclipse. They're reliant on Epicenter to really get some damage going here. And those windows of opportunity for NGX, it just keeps presenting itself. You have to be very cautious on Avulus. If you do commit these spells and you don't find kills, just get ready to sit back, farm, make some sacrifices on the map, because NGX will be ready to go. And for NGX now, I mean, look, Unleash is back up, Coil in 10 seconds. Their uptime for this aggression is really damn high. The longest thing they have to wait for is Metamorphosis on Noob. But even that isn't really necessary for this fights anyhow. Just having him for Sunder is probably enough to save some lives and turn these fights your way, although...
Well, they're going on. It's going to be Noob, who has been caught out. Gets a Sunder! Mobay!
Oh my god.
Not like that. Desire, I mean, he's going to make it for now because a nice Epicenter's in from Zibay. But can you get Noob? No, you cannot. Zibay's out. For now, he'll be okay. That's really, really hard to watch. I mean, Noob was basically one right click away from dying. And he's still got the Sunder off. 1700 HP removal. Yeah, righto. No worries.
Oh, just that is just so sad to watch, right? Like, they were getting the stuns off. Maybe, I don't think they stacked them too hard either, but not having Sibe around for the cleanup, like he joins that fight way later as he TPs in, cost them. They needed everyone to be there. Again, this lack of control, this lack of damage on the DK because you went for Frost Dragon as well. It means that you can't melt the same way you would have if you had Corrosive. Tormentors open now for the side of NGX. They'll clean it up. 0-9 at the 4K lead for NGX. Looking like a very sharp game one to start things off. And they get their free shard up on GH now with that additional damage on Tether, with a little bit of healing. So there's more sustain for Ghost to play with. Speaking of which, Ghost is working into the BKB, only lacking the recipe next. And all of the timings for NGX are coming online. For Avulus, look, and there's still some power spikes for Smiling Like down the line. Of course, there's still room to grow for Sibe. And
oh boy.
Okay.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage, man. Oh, that's a Dragon Knight, John. He's meant to be the tanky guy.
He's meant to be.
What about the armor, John? I mean, she's using bare fists here. What's going on? Mid lane?
Her armor. Oh.
No, they're all right, John. Go on.
Her fists are corrosive, Mike. She's got Orb of Corrosion. If you think about it, you apply that onto the weapon. I guess her hands are just hurting, but not hurting her. I wonder how that works on our heroes who punch.
I'm pretty sure
she's punching with the orb. Like she's holding it and she's twacking DK with the orb. How does that work?
This reminds me of a scene from Hajime no Ippo, John. A manga you probably never read. It's about boxing.
Nope.
In case you weren't aware.
Okay.
Nope. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. One of the coaches basically punches pieces of wood into a hillside until his fists are completely made of iron, but they can only be used once. That's the knack of it.
All right.
Shout out to any Hajime no Ippo enjoys.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
I at the least Marcy gets to use it more than once. So there is that.
You'd know nothing about the Dempsey roll, John. You know nothing about it. You're too busy watching Tea Party animes or whatever it is you're watching. It's horrible.
Dempsey roll? The boxing roll? It's not a manga specific thing, is it?
No.
A shoulder roll? What are we talking about?
No, that's not what we're talking about. John Roshan's happening. Don't worry about that for now. Goes to start. I'll send you some pictures later.
Doesn't take too long. Sure. Doesn't take too long, of course, with sidekick up, getting the free tax in. And a little bit of a cheeky play from Sumail.
They've got an IO, John. They can move in. Ghost is more than happy. Look at that fly. That's a left, right, good night from Ghost. Those 2 hits. Mobay, he's safe. GH gets him out. Ghost is perfectly fine. Sumail, Epicenter committed. He tries to juke with the illusion room, but doesn't quite get there. But it won't really matter unless it does. Sumail still running. Escape back up from Omar, and he's gonna make it. He will make it. Sumail is fine. Roshan is not though, John. Roshan's getting annihilated right now.
And he is. Very, very sick plays coming out from Omar. He's been very consistent with these saves. Always using Wheel of Wonder defensively to break off the chase. Getting the clutch saves in time for his team. And they buy that space out for the free Roche to go the way of Ghost. 0-11. Anyone who looked for first 10 kills, well, at 0-9, I'm pretty sure they're already happy that you can rest easy now. 0-11. Avulus need to find something, Mike. Again, they've got a couple of the blinks up. They've got that blink for Mobay, who's going back for the armlet. You've got Sibe working onto the Ags. You have the Manta coming out for Smiling Knight, but it's just taking way too long. And again, with all the saves on hand, you need to find a way to jump the back line, take care of the IO, take care of Omar. I'd say at this point, Omar has to go first.
Oh. See a fly. Well, he gets the missed chance with the laser for like a couple seconds. Meanwhile, Sumail, he's found himself a Luna. Eclipse will be committed here by Avulus. Omar in danger, but is still going to be able to save one of his teammates and will actually survive himself, as it seems like this Luna cannot stand her ground. Smiling Knight is doing anything with Smiling right here, John. A double kill for Ghost. You know, I did question this Luna pick during the draft because we haven't really seen it much. And
no,
I think, you know, you could give props to the fact that NGX, they pick up this Marcy. Obviously, they're just kind of outpacing Avulus with their own draft. But the Luna has felt pretty lackluster thus far.
Yeah, I don't think it's down to Facet choice either. It does feel like the damage Facet is not any better than this Moonshield Facet as well. It's just that here's in a very awkward spot in terms of how it's supposed to scale for damage. The talents kind of encourage a little bit more on Eclipse, so it encourages like an Axe build-up. But you've nerfed down all the magic side stuff as well. Like Conda doesn't feel as amazing. Going for Ags, you're not going to have right-click damage, which was scaled back on Luna. Like, it's a very weird hero. It kind of lacks an identity, and you kind of see a lot of those issues right now. Like, you are just going for right-click, but there's no real damage to speak of. There's no way for you to pierce through with NGX's defenses. Mid-tier 2 just gets sieged away by illusions here from Noob. Doesn't even have his... he does have his shard, so he's got some output every single time, even while Metamorphosis is down. Once he does pop that Demon Zeal open. And Avulus is just running out of space to farm. Right, you're soaking up all of this free farm on Smiling Knight. You're forced to just hold high ground with the rest of your course. Maybe a little bit of a foray out from Mobe. But not much else going on across the map. And NGX, no luck again.
Sumail set up. Yeah, he set up perfectly. Here's Sumail. Ends up finding a very nice target in Smiling Knight. And this is the beauty of the IO Marcy, Jonathan. It's basically Coddle Storm, right? Like that's basically what we're watching here. It's just Ghost running around with his IO, just doing absolutely disgusting things. They're going to find Mobay as well. Mobay, can he get out? He can. Barely. But he does make it.
Yeah, he gets out of dodge, but you get the big one that you're shutting down. The only hero with any semblance of farm on the side of Avulus is Smiling Light's Nuna. He's the only one kind of matching, you know, within 800 gold of Noob, within 2k of Ghost. Sibe and Mobe have really taken the backseat to the point that GH is very close to matching Mobe's farm, which, again, when your pause 5 is matching something like your mid or off lane, you know, things are in very dire straits right now for the side of Avulus. And their way of recovering, it's down to very good high ground execution at this point. I think you can't even take the fights around the tier 2s. You could if they clump up hard enough in NGX. Chances are they aren't. But you've got the Ags up now on Sibe. You've got damage in the Epicenter. You've got Eclipse. You need to fight them in the choke point. And one of the best choke points to play with is the high ground. Although, they're looking bot here onto Omar.
They are. Omar's not an easy target, though. He'll use that escape act perfectly to juke out the stun here from Mobay. Mobay will still be able to chase him down and finish him off, though. There was no helping coming, but they are slowly moving down now. Ghost wants the fight. GH did not have relocate, but now he does. Smiling Knight will eventually be spotted, but Ghost in the middle of nowhere right now as they will focus down the IO instead. GH is gone. And that should dissuade any kind of fight from NGX. They don't seem to really retreat either, though, do they, John? They still stick around this area.
And they had to pop Epicenter for that one from Sibe, for those kills. So they don't have that big tool with the Ags to try to burst heroes down any longer. Sure, you don't have the sustain coming out from NGX. Respawns are shorter than the cooldowns for these big spells. So you have a much bigger window of opportunity here for the side of NGX. Still 2 important kills for Avulus. That gets them on the board. Now that's a 200% increase, an infinite increase over 0 for them in this game. It's something. It's just they need more. They had the right idea. If you kill off these supports every time, NGX, chances are they're not going to look to re-engage, especially without the IO. Not having that link for Marcy will take off a lot of the bite that Ghost has here. So that's the key thing. Just hunt the backline if possible. Prevent any wider fight from breaking out until that point. NGXO, clear out all the tier 2s. Go for a little bit of a smoke out as well with Sumail and Omar again. Not going to be able to find anything, although the scan did connect for a moment onto Smiling Knight. He has backed off, but the control is slipping away from Avulus. Next Roche still a ways off at the least. So there's not too much for NGX to do outside of trying to force high ground. And Avulus, they'll try with a wider smoke. Again, if they find the backline, these fights can simplify for their side.
Goes, oh, Sumail.
Oh, Sibe.
Spidey senses tingling. He's going to find himself a Sand King. Well, their calls, Jonathan. You know these guys don't carry dust.
There you
GH is here, though. GH is here. He'll fix the problem. Zibe is gone. Nothing he can do about it. I'm looking for the brighter side here, Fabulous, John. You know, I'm trying to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Is now Noob's just chasing Fly into his tier 3 tower. Illusions are there. Oh, boy. I mean, just so much damage. He's okay, though. He's going to survive.
Gotta love Demon Zeal. Great shard. Lots of output. Definitely gonna get nerfed at some point, perhaps. I don't know.
Remember when
2 to 15
Demon Zeal came out and everyone thought it was the worst shard?
Yeah,
everyone thought it was the worst.
Bad. Yeah, I thought it was decent. I was like, yo, something to do while, you know, you don't have Metamorphosis. It's fine. You gotta be melee.
Yeah.
You gotta hit people. It's cool.
I didn't think it was that bad. I was like, yeah, you can still use it. Not that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty decent. It's like, I like to compare, I used to like to compare it to, like, who was it? Alchemist and his shard? That little Berserk potion, right? It kind of does the same thing, except it doesn't cost HP. So they're pretty cool. Definitely gonna get nerfed. Let's see, Silver Linings, Mike. You were trying to find some. Again, for me, I think for Avulus, it's all about tight spots. Tight fights, when NGX clumped up, you try to get the kill in the backline first, or you force very tight fights where Eclipse and Epicenter can do max damage, and that's the best you can hope for. Tormentor going the way of NGX once more. Free shard up for Omar, so now the spotlight's there, which means you're not going to be safe any longer in the Sandstorm for Sibe. They will have some constant way of revealing Invis for that free shard on your Ringmaster. So you do have that, and the mischance is going to be a major pain point here for Mobe and for Smiling Knight to get damage through. And the game just gets harder and harder. Next Roche, we'll see in a few seconds how long that respawn will be. And for the side of Avulus, I don't expect them to be able to contest. They have to. They kind of do have to fight until, like, Roche Pit. They kind of have to take these fights in clustered areas, but it feels like NGX will never allow that.
Well, NGX do scan out Avulus here in this Radiant Triangle. See if they do want to try and make their way over to Avulus right now, though. Avulus moving to the western side of the map, not looking to force any kind of fights anytime soon. I say that there is a 2-man smoke that is committed. D-Ward's here in the Radiant Triangle as NGX do now take over that area. Noob thinking about moving in. Ghost already does, though stun is immediately out of the Marcy, but he's taking no damage quite yet. They do catch out Desire on the Tusk, and he just gets deleted by Ghost and Sumail. In they go for more now. They're all trapped up with the Dream Claw. This could be really bad for Avulus. They're going to have to just try and fight this one out. Ghost, can they deal with the Marcy? He's just healing up through all of it. The Eclipse is doing nothing. The Eclipse does nothing. Ghost is just destroying them. Who needs magic when you've got hands, John? There goes your DK. You just see him tank through all of it, John. He didn't care.
Yep.
Full moon tonight. You know, it's pretty. GG's called. Oh, God. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying. Just ban this. Ban the Marcy. Ban Marcy either. Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a strong combination. And Avulus.
Exactly what they're planning to do here in this game, too. I gotta say, I do like where NGX has gone with their draft, John, which might be bad news for them. I'm not 100% sure. But I did like this Timber last pick. I thought it was a very nice pick here for Noob.
Yeah, and I do like this mid Beastmaster anyhow, right? Laning into the Sand King, you're pretty happy about that. You can play with axes. It's still a decent lane for value points in the boar. You can kind of farm the side camps as well, although it's, again, it's been a little bit harder since the map changes. Might get a good wraparound here as well.
Look at find Zibe. Not quite the target you really wanted to find, and well, he's in a bit of an awkward position to try and jump. They would have much rather found Desire on the left side of that Roshan pit, but they didn't get so lucky. There is going to be a smoke out though from Avulus, but it seems as though they're just using it to reposition. Into the Radiant Triangle they'll go. And right back out they'll go. They'll just take that that Watcher. That's all they got. Do they fight over the bounty? So it doesn't seem like.
No, they do manage to get one nice ward by the ramp. I guess not the best position D ward. Like, look, they got baited as well, right? Like, Sumail had the boar, you were under smoke, and Mobe smoked and popped, so he's giving vision to the board. It made them think there was a ward on mid, so that's a wasted sentry right now from the side of NGX. It's not the biggest waste of resources, but it's still a little bit something, right? You skewer your vision on mid lane, you get to maintain this ward and the double ward watching in front of the Roche pit for rotations, and that gives a little bit of leeway for Mobe. Mind you, the sentry will still have some value in eating through Sandstorm, so there is that. Like, Sumail can still poke out if need be. Again, this mid lane matchup is the one that's a little bit interesting, because Sumail did go for Boar's level 1. He can't afford to bring it close to Mobe, but once he gets the axis up, that's where things can start to be a little bit better for Sumail. Can start to poke out, control the lane, get his farm. Rune control, it's pretty important for both sides considering the spell spam they have to do here, but you would expect Mobe to have a bit of a better time in comparison to his DK. I mean, again, his DK was almost 2x the CS at some point up against Sumail. But at the very least now, there's also a lot more play that he can get from the Sand King in comparison to that Frost Dragon on the DK last game.
Well, how's those side lanes going? I mean, in bot lane, Zibe and Desire against Ghost and GH. This is one of those lanes where you probably don't expect too much action. But the thing is, like, maybe they could think about going after Ghost, but with GH there, once he has the point and shadow word, nobody's dying. You know, like, Ghost really shouldn't be dying, although they are going to jump Zibe, as I say that no action should happen, John. But Kraken sure comes in. In fact, it wasn't even Kraken, it was just the Blobber. Desire, in trouble now, is going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing some of the shortcomings of the Tidehunter, right? Like, you can't tank through that much. You at least get that Dispel as an innate, but you need a value point from the Kraken Shell. And you really need Gush to try to be aggressive here for Zibe. Having that extra range early on in the Anchor Smash does help manage the lane, just not enough to really change that pace. Up top, we're seeing some aggression onto Omar. A little bit more playable for Fly, considering that he's not getting caught out as much. It's not much as of a threat for him from the Jakiro and the Tim, but there's some good damage.
Well, the Blubber continues to save the life of Zibe, but it is looking already just pretty tough here down in this bottom lane as Ghost and GH, they are just not relenting. Yeah, this is what you love to see, like just this kind of aggressive PA style of play is what I miss really seeing. This top lane, you are seeing Noob and Omar having a bit of a annoying time against Fly and Smiling Knight. It is still Tinker even in the laning stage, John, even if you do have a Jakiro. This much of the machine spam, very, very annoying to have to go up against. And, well, Smiling Knight, he's not going to feel very safe every time they do move in for those Whirling Deaths and the Dual Breaths. But while that March of Machines is going, he's going to feel pretty good.
And he will. I do like that they've cut the tree line as well, preventing some big plays with Whirling Death, so you're not getting as much damage out here. And it's pretty smart from Omar to go for the Icebreaker facet as well instead of the right-click damage one, considering you're playing up against Reflection. So that's one less thing to worry about as well down mid.
Oh, he gets the root and he gets the axes. Sumail, solo first blood here in the mid lane. And that's concerning, Jonathan. I always say this with this Beastmaster hero, but you don't want to give him a good amount of gold earlier. This hero is scary no matter what build it goes for.
It is. And with his strong start for Sumail, having that early level 5 with a value point, with the level 3 axis, this becomes really hard to play for Mobe. Again, it's a melee matchup, but Beastmaster isn't really a melee hero in the traditional sense because of how far back he can play with axes up. At the least, Sumail doesn't have the mana. Water runes are up. Mobe will be able to contest. Try to drag around. He's using that ward to track Sumail and making sure to show that the ward is there. So it's not an easy time for Sumail to just commit. Might still get stunned up. And yeah, not able to top up. Just zoning out well, but Mobe does give up. Sumail will get the water rune he needs. He'll get some mana to go his way. No relief coming out for Mobe. That damage is just insane.
So stupid. And these boars are being so annoying. Like early on, Mobe was actively hunting the boars, but now at the level 2 mark, like they've gotten to a point where they're actually super annoying to have to try and contest. And Sumail's been doing a very good job of microing it on the right side of this mid lane. He's just doing an extremely good job. Every time Mobe comes in, the boar comes in as well. Mobe's going to try and punish, but look at this. Where are you going to go, Mobe? Guess what?
Yeah.
There's a sentry. There's a sentry. Tips out for Sumail. What can you say, John? The king has risen.
Yeah, the king is risen, and he's crushing that mid. He is the Beastmaster, and Scorpion is, I guess, the beast, right? A giant Scorpion would be a beast in most games, so he's mastering the beast quite nicely.
You're always stretching these things, John. These are very unnecessary points you like to make about these heroes.
Creative. What's wrong with a little creativity? What's wrong with imagination, Michael Phoenix? Imagination's great. Just because you have no sense of it doesn't mean you have to punish others. As Sumail gets jumped, king.
Sumail, indeed. He will go down. Mobe Desire, able to finally punish.
Yeah, that's what you need. A little bit of comeuppance for the king. It's not at the best of times. Maybe they can kind of pick themselves a power rune off of this, but Omar has already made his way towards that area with GH getting the TP off as well. And it is going to spawn down bot. Haste rune for GH. It's not impactful, but you don't hand it over to Sand King to try to play with that epicenter. So you do manage things quite nicely. Heck, even gets to chase Sibe a little bit for some fun. Look at this. Look at all that damage GH is doing. Wow. Whoa.
Look at him moving.
Warlock haste.
He's moving his little legs. Uh-oh. The Zayas found him. GH. He's out of haste. Run, GH. Ah, he's alright. He's alright. He's got help incoming. Sumail's here. Nobody's going to get caught. The Zaya will be just fine. Although, there are some stacks.
Stacks.
There are some stacks,
Nice
Jonathan.
and juicy.
They are juicy indeed. Mobe, Epicenter going to be channeled, but he will cancel. God, do I miss the days where once you press that R button, Epicenter's gone. Do I miss that?
Yeah, you know, oh, I mean, how could you miss it? Sand King wasn't a hero for a long time until that change came in. Remember, we literally didn't see Sand King for like 3 years, Mike, until they made it cancel. It was so dead. So there's nothing to miss if you've never seen it, Mike. You know?
Yeah.
How can you miss it? It didn't even show up.
I still remember the day I learned that you could shift cube link after Epicenter. And it was a long time ago, Jonathan, but my goodness, did it open my mind up. Couldn't believe it. I thought all these Sand King players were just experts. I was like, how are these guys timing everything so perfectly? Why does mine keep getting cancelled? Did I learn the hard way? Bottom lane. Here we go. Omar's looking to try and maybe find a nice ice path here. In fact, not even an ice path, just set up with GH with a dual breath would be more than enough, I think. Onto a Desire at the very least. Desire is very far forward. Zibe is hanging about though. He is just a creep away from level 6 at the moment. So it doesn't have the Ravage yet, but it doesn't seem like NGX want to really risk it by trying for the Tide. And it won't matter anyway. There's no rule threat. NGX is still able to find free farm on this PA. Same could be said here for Smiling Knight at the top lane. Fly in trouble. Noob trying to get aggressive now on the Timber. You have reached about that point for Smiling Knight now where you've hit level 6 on Timber Sword, so you can't really hang around in the lane anymore as bot lane. Speaking of not hanging around in lanes, Desire may also need to leave, though Ghost cannot really contest Zibe. So nobody dies. No. Everybody just fine.
No. The pressure differential is kind of nice to see. Like, you have all of this aggression down bot with, you know, 3 heroes playing, 2 supports to help out Ghost. Top lane's just a solo lane for Noob. He's still running down. You're not comfy enough to just hold that lane on Smiling Knight. Already jungling very early on. This gives a ton of free space for Sumail mid. Rushing that Ags. Already has at least the Ogre Axe up. So the timing's going to be on point with all of this free space mid. You do have room in your triangle here for Avulus. Mobe is getting that ramp up into the Blink Dagger at the very least. So you've got that timing lining up. But it does feel like you're getting maybe just a little bit too much on the side of NGX. Like, the fact that Sumail's just free farming into Ags, the fact that Noob has a free lane to dance around in, certainly is a cause of concern. Because, yes, you know, Fly is keeping that tier 1 safe, sure. It's not going to be pushed anytime soon, but the farm going to Noob and Sumail more than makes up for a free lane for Fly to play in.
Update as well, by the way, John. GH has used the Black Grimoire. It's been used. It had one. It had 1 stack on it.
Whoa.
It had 1.
It really helps. Wow, when you're behind that 1 stack, it's amazing. Oh, really helps the issues in Warlock. He's level 5 now, Mike.
I mean, he was already
level 4.
He was he was level 5. he was level 4.
Oh, it helped so much. Roar, Fly.
Mid lane, Fly. Fly's in trouble. Fly will go down. Oh,
Black Grimoire, man. Best fast.
Look at him though. GH doesn't need the goal. He's just hitting the tier 1 tower. Ghost bottom lane. Gonna find Zibe. Zibe will be chasing him, but leaves him alone. A quick Sand King Blink Dagger though here from Avulus. Jonathan Mobe immediately wants to make use of it. He'll head up top lane. Smiling Knight is there. Noob actually being broken by the creep as well does not help his cause very much. And it seems like Noob is just trapped between a rock and a hard place and is down. Very nice here from the side of Avulus. Immediately finding a very important kill off the back of that blink.
And that's what they need. And that's a pretty surprising timing for Mobe as well, opting to force fight without the Epi. Fortunately, it's only the 1 pickoff, so they don't need that additional damage. And it evens out the game a little bit. Gives him breathing room out to Smiling Knight, give him a lane to actually play in as he works into the Dragonlance. Again,
bottom.
Despite that kill... Oh.
They'd love Ghost. Is Ghost going to stick around? In fact, Noob does move in. They've got the epicenter here from Mobe. He's going to channel it and jumps in with a Ravage setup. It's a pretty nice fight so far, but Ghost is... Oh, he blink strikes right to Zibe. Zibe says, thank you very much. I'll take that. And they do find the big target they wanted. The PA will die.
Yep. Clear her out. It does cost Ravage and Epi, but... Oh.
The problem is Sumail is just pulling so far ahead. Like, this is the thing, right? Like, Ghost is having a bad time. Sumail is having a great time. He's actually about 200 gold away from the full Aghanim Scepter on this Beastmaster already.
It goes back to what we were talking about, right? Like, especially with kill on Noob. Yes, slowing down the Timbersaw is nice. Your big issue is really just Sumail free-running this game. And he's still able to get everything he wants. Noob is just at the point where he can join these fights.
Well, the Tier 1 tower now under siege, but it seems like they don't really want to deal with the Tide Hunter. Pretty standard. Zibe just going to stand his ground in that Tier 1 mid tower and keep it safe. And Sumail, not interested in trying to force anything. He just wants that Ags up. And it really allows you to start playing, you know, as stupid as you really want to, because Drums of Slom are just so broken. Bottom lane.
Man.
Ghost getting jumped again. Mobe, he'll land the Burrow Strike. The Will of Wonder there as well. And Ghost has nowhere to go. Another great kill here for Avulus. And it seems like Ghost, he might need to start thinking about leaving this bottom lane.
And he's been poking into that jungle, but without the Battle Fury, progress is going to be a little bit slow. Still a ways off from that second broadsword and the recipe. So they've done a great job in mitigating that Phantom Assassin, but again, with how much Sumail has, I don't think it's going to be a problem here for the side of NGX. It's that Durham's Islam that's going to be key anyhow. It's good damage onto Smiling Knight. It's going to be good damage onto the Sand King. It's going to be able to rip all of them apart. You just need to find a way to relieve that pressure now on Ghost, who is still hanging bot. To be fair, he's still stuck in that area. Avulus, they're looking to wrap around onto the mid, onto Sumail here.
Raw committed. Zibe in danger. Even the Golem drop, but now the epicenter Burrow Strike from Obey helping a little bit. Zibe still alive. The escape act even keeping him alive a little bit longer, but finally goes down. Thing is, Noob had to die for that. So they do at least punish on Avulus. In fact, they're going for more now. Omar has been caught, should be going down, gets an ice path before he does die, but it won't matter. There's no follow-up to it. So you get the Tide, but it costs you so much. And you still end up losing 2 heroes on top of that.
I think for NGX right now, they have to play around the cooldowns of Avulus. Like, if they see the commitment out from Epi, they should still feel confident, knowing that Ravage alone is probably not enough to get these kills any longer. You know, Metamorphosis was popped as well. Going to be on cooldown as it fades away. So there are still opportunities here for NGX. A little bit unfortunate for Noob as he went in for that kill onto the Tide. The tree was still up. He wasn't able to drag himself to low ground. Not that that would have been enough anyhow. So just an unfortunate series of events, along with, of course, that great save from Desire on the escape pack. This is buying space, though, right? Like, yes, you're sacrificing a little bit more than you'd want to here on the side of NGX, but you're buying space out for Ghost. He's freer down bot, although they have set some good forward vision. Again, these sneaky cluff wards by that forward jungle down bot. Going to be able to get some good opportunities onto that PA and protect them as they will line up for that Tormentor here on the side of Avulus. No sign of contest so far from the side of NGX playing the map. So a free shard goes a long way here for Avulus, and for NGX, that's going to be a big gold injection to swing away from them. Although they looks like they might want to play across the map first. They know where Noob is at.
And they're moving in. Noob, he's got time to react to this. Chains away for now. Smiling Knight will reveal himself, and now there's plenty more heroes coming in as they put their hand up. And Noob now looks like he's practically dead. Another great kill here for Avulus.
And it is.
They can always just go back to the Tormentor now as well. Like, there's no need to just not go back and take it.
In fact, they might be able to get a kill on Ghost if he's not too careful either. He's playing very forward now in the lane. No mass TPs though, but the gate usage is there.
Oh, jump in. I mean, he bought out the Battery Fury at least. Ghost, he's going to try for the TP play, and he's made it. So at least he does make it out. He's got the Battery Fury up now. Pings are coming out towards the mid lane where they are looking towards Zibe once again. Sumail does have the blink up, but instead he's actually starting Roshan on his own. Sumail just literally carrying the game on his own here. Johnny, he's just going for Roshan. Screw the team. I'll do it all myself.
I like that read. Knowing that Tormentor was the next play with that positioning out from Mobe, knowing that there's no contest, of course, coming in for that pit. A little bit surprised, like, if Mobe committed the epicenter before jumping in, that likely would have been a kill. Was channeling it at the moment, but opted not to finish it up, opting for the right clicks instead and the stinger, and does miss out. At the least, you know, a little bit more damage is going to be coming out soon for Mobe, one part away from his full ags on the Sand King. So he's going to have those little stingers coming in for the epicenter. We've seen the effect of that, especially as this game scales on. The damage is quite high. Still dealing with 2 lives in Sumail is going to be the tricky part. Mind you, Avulus, they do have Epi and Ravage up as Ghost again.
Uh-oh, Ghost another time being caught by this duo of Mobe and Desire. This time Sumail going to be there, at least catch Desire for their trouble, but certainly another great kill for Avulus. And it's always the same thing. It's just down at the bottom lane. Mobe and Desire, they just keep catching it. So this time Mobe gets caught now by Omar. Omar still trying to slow him up. Here comes Sumail, but you have committed the roar already, but it won't matter. Noob is there to cut him off. So they finally punished the Sand King and Ringmaster for killing off their POS 1 PA.
Yeah. Takes a lot, but again, I don't think you're getting enough from Avulus for these kills. Like, yes, you're slowing down Ghost. He's significantly behind in comparison to Smiling Knight, about 1.3k behind at this point. But Sibe is still suffering as well. You're not really matching Sumail's farm for what you're getting there.
You might catch him. Sumail doesn't have Roar up, but he could still try for this. They will run into each other. Smiling Knight, he'll be slowed up by the balls, but the TPs are incoming. In fact, here comes Zippe. Has Sumail gone too far? I think he may have. Noob's going to try and come in to help out, I do believe, from the left side. Sumail, he's trying his best to survive with the drums of Slom. Surely he can't escape. Ravage is out. They'll finally get the Aegis. That's one life. Roar is back up. This could be dangerous for Avulus. They'll drop the Golem. Here comes GH. Fly being targeted. Smiling Knight being just locked down by the Ice Path. Mobane, in the meantime, also in huge trouble as Sumail does take down Fly. It looks like they'll have the Sand King on top. Avulus needing to escape now. So they have lost 2 for nothing. Noob's going for more of a chase, but does he actually find anyone? No, he doesn't. But they'll stick around for a tier 2 tower. Maybe they won't have enough time to take it. Doesn't really matter, though. They do win out the team fight.
And they do. Sure, they lose the Aegis. They've got some value out of it, at the very least. With that secondary life, the connections from NGX on point. Not being able to kill off Smiling Knight, it makes it a little bit less worthwhile. I think this is the year that you're going to be worried scaling into the late game as he starts to need his items. But, again, you're forcing these fights a little bit further away from Ghost. Ghost, for his part, is ramping into a very fast BKB now. And once you have that BKB, the same gank moves you made onto the PA, it's not going to line up. You won't have the physical burst to deal with her just yet. You're nowhere near something like the MKB for Smiling Knight anyhow. And the side of NGX, they're still set to go. Roar off cooldown in a few seconds here if they want to.
Oh, this is not the target to aim down first, Zippe. Way too tanky. Epicenter in. It's a 2-man Burrow Strike as well from Obey. It's a perfect setup, and Sumail's just going to man up with the BKB. And they found Desire. Omar is down. It's a 1-for-1 so far, but Avulus, they don't really seem to want to stick around. They will retreat, although I say that. Zippe, he's going to jump in again. He'll go after Noob. Meanwhile, Sumail, he'll try for the Arcane Rune and does manage to bottle it up, but they've got to try and find a way to save Noob here. He does chain out of there. In comes Ghost now with the Stifling Daggers. But everyone does retreat. It'll end up being a 1-for-1 on just the supports.
It is quite the commitment out from the side of NGX this time. At least dropping the Roar, but again, it's not the longest cooldown in the world. For the side of Avulus, again, they kind of have to just wait every single time until Zippe has Ravage to tie in with the Epi. Epi alone, it's enough to kill, but you need that added control to really ensure everyone's stuck in the epicenter for you to clean up and for you to find that backline. Like, you need to take care of this Warlock in these wider fights. You need to prevent the Fatal Bonds and the Shadow Word from sustaining true here. For the most part, Avulus, they're having a better game in this game too, for sure. 10-9. They've got a lot more presence. They're finding trades. It's just not enough to really give them control. Like, they've got some key items up, but once Ghost has this BKB, I don't think you're scared anymore in this PA. I think you're in complete control on NGX at that point. There's nothing to pierce that debuff immunity. And the damage is still going to be there on Ghost, even without anything else but the Battle Fury and BKB. That's still a lot of hurt with the level 2 coup de grace up. So, I don't know. Like, I think if you're Avulus, you have to nail these team fights. Like, you need bigger usage out of the Ravage and the Epicenter. You need bigger kills to come off from these very tight windows you have for play. We'll try out with a smoke now. Same thing goes for NGX with their own smoke here.
Who they find first? Big wraparound. They'd love Fly. I mean, every time you can take the Tinker, you'll take it, and they do jump in. Immediately just trying to get rid of this support Tinker. The heals are coming up from Fly. He's barely alive. Does he make it? He does not. But they've got Ghost down. They've taken Sumail down to boot. It's a horrible start for NGX, but perfect for the side of Avulus. Just using Fly as bait. They will land themselves 3 for the price of 1. And that'll give Avulus a pretty decent lead now. 3k ahead. They'll even spot GH out, that they won't be able to cancel his TP. But I think Avulus feeling very happy now. And that was a fight where Ghost was, I think, just 100 gold off his BKB recipe. So they could have really just maybe given him 10 seconds.
I thought he already had it, honestly, with how aggressive he was playing there. And again, killing off this Tinker is nice, but you saw how long it took to kill off Fly. That was Roar being committed. That was a lot of damage coming out from Ghost. Still not enough to get that window out before anything else can happen. Fly, he has the Essence Ring, he has a Holy Locket, he has a lot of healing and a lot of EHP, more than you'd probably imagine this little Tinker to have. And that's the kind of team fight we need to see from Avulus. They get the big usage from Epicenter and from the Ravage. They managed to get the big kills they'd want on the core. They finally get some punishment onto Sumail. And they get the 4K lead on top of it. The issue is for Avulus, they need to wait every single time for these spells to be back up. But NGX don't feel like they're ready to fight. Again, they've got Roar ready in Sumail. He has his BKB, didn't use it last time around. Ghost has his flying out now. So at least he should be protected.
So he does need it. He doesn't pop it yet. Now he will, jumping back in onto Desire, but the escape act just so annoying to try and play against, and they will already waste the first charge here for Ghost. Not a great feeling.
Certainly not. And that will give them the window for jumping him again. Epicenter is off cooldown. Just need a little bit of mana reset here from Obey. But if you catch Ghost out again, you know you've got a minute 10 where BKB is not going to be a problem. Time to farm a little bit safer here for NGX. And this 4K lead for Avulus is starting to ramp up. Only Sumail pulling ahead now for NGX. Like he said, he's been carrying a lot of these engagements for the team. For the side of NGX, they need these nullifiers to come out. Sumail, very close to his, just lacking the Sacred Relic, 1.4k gold away. Even Ghost trying to work into his own, although it looks like he'll buy out the shard first before hitting that point. Avulus, all its spells back up. Time for another smoke. Time for another big fight to force out. NGX almost feels like they can't take these 5v5s unless GH manages to get a really good chaotic offering to buy time and allow BKBs to pop on. Doesn't feel like the counterfight's that clean here from NGX just yet.
Well, he's Avulus. They're smoked. They're looking. Bly will be back in the mid lane trying to bait with himself, and it seems like they found a target. It's going to be Omar. So Omar kind of just tanks the gank. Ghost was waiting behind the tier 2 mid tower just in case that smoke was coming, and turns out Omar does reveal the smoke was indeed happening. Not the biggest loss in the world, but Avulus, they will take the little wins they do get. I mean, the name of the game right now for NGX is just continue to buy this PA time, because he's still just well and truly way too off, as we are going to lose a nullifier for Sumail. At least the Helm of Iron Will is now gone for a couple minutes.
I mean, that's a big window. 2 minutes 40 where you're not going to be scared of your escape deck being blown apart. Right? He basically has a gold, 300 gold away for Sumail on that Sacred Relic. So that's a really timely snipe here from Cive, just ensuring they've got this window again to play with the nuisance that is Desire. You've got to find some way to jump the back line. Like we talked about this the last time we saw Tinker Ringmaster. Ringmaster has to go first. You can do whatever you want with Tinker. You can kind of just ignore him for as long as you can, but this escape deck, this Wheel of Wonder, teamfight control, it just has to go. Sumail needs to be able to find that big support first.
Well, they may now, but there is a 4-man smoke from NGX, and they're running right into the Radiant Triangle where Avulus are hanging about. Sumail, he will go for a Sentry Ward deny, but does reveal his smoke. Plenty of vision around this Radiant Triangle as well here for Avulus, so it's not a great place for NGX to try and force a fight. Especially considering all the AoE control you've got for the side of Avulus, so you don't want to play in this small area. Problem is Roshan's up, and that's an even smaller area. So we'll see who can get the best of this next team fight, and of course that they will be allowed to go for Roshan straight after. So Avulus now 5-man smoked, running through the river. Desire will be on the front, get some more vision down. NGX will counter smoke once again. They're hanging around in that dire jungle. Noob will break the smoke of Mopay, and both of them completely just blinking away from each other. So both sides know where they're hanging about. Neither wants to make the first jump.
No. A lot of respect out from the side of Avulus to some of that counterplay potential on NGX. And again, there's pressure on Avulus to catch multiple heroes with a Ravage in the Epi. You can't afford just single target pickoffs. The counterfight does start to look better for NGX if you only burst down one. So they need more info. They need to just wait. They're in very interesting spots, or at least cutting off the mid wave and stalling out. I guess the good news for NGX is that the Roshan is being stalled out. bit. There is good vision here from Avulus to keep track of river movement and Roche in case a contest comes in. He's still looking for that team fight. Again, they're hanging on to that Ravage and Epi here. They've got a lot of farm flowing out. You know, Smiling Knights closing that gap with Sumail, a 1.4k gap at this point for the Terrorblade up against the top net worth isn't a bad point to be in. And the MKB is coming next for Smiling Knight after a couple of the components. So Ghost isn't going to be as tanky as, well, he hasn't really felt tanky anyway, even with the BKB, but...
Uh-oh. Zibe, he's jumped in with that dead in the water, locking down Noob for now. Epicenter committed. Noob, he's trying to tank all this damage with the Epicenter. Does end up going down though. Meanwhile, Aurora has caught out the TB. Can they burst down the Terrorblade in time? Smiling Knight, he gets asunder. It's on Zibe, but he does make it out. So they cannot burst down the Terrorblade. Not quick enough. And now it's time for NGX to leave the area, I think. Though Noob has brought back, so they want to keep going. But Mabay's jumped in, and now a Burrow Strike into a Ravage, making it very hard for Ghost to be able to fight back there. He will try to jump the tide. He does get at least Zippe, but it is going to cost his own life. Not a great fight at all for NGX. And now they've got nothing left in the tank. They've just got to get the hell out of there. Omar looks like he should eventually go and will die. And Avulus once again finding another good team fight.
They are. Right target prioritization, or at least the right core to jump here from NGX. It's just Smiling Knight is starting to get pretty tanky. He's got a good buffer with a full Hurricane Pike up and the Manta style, so there's some strength to this hero. A lot harder to burst down. Key Sunder coming out in the right time. Sure, this time around, the Epicenter didn't really manage to catch as much as he'd want, but again, they get that jump onto Ghost before he can pop BKB. He's popping BKB after the initiation, and he doesn't have any sort of lifesteal to try to recoup some HP. He needs a Satanic, but also needs to pull Sanjin Yasha for some stat res. I'm a little bit surprised Ghost just doesn't opt for something like a Glimmer Cape himself. Right? Like his own little Glimmer Cape to try to save, to at least dodge out some of the magic damage coming in. Can buy him a little bit of time to play, but isn't going for it, is going to be relying more on GH to try to bail him out, and on Omar. But so far, it hasn't felt like they've been able to. The spacing has been a bit of a problem for NGX. They're spacing themselves pretty far apart to ensure that they're not all caught in like Ravage Epi. That does leave the window for Avulus to just clean up these cores when they're a little bit isolated away. Free shard up now for Fly with a Tormentor take. Again, they've got that fresh Aegis up on Smiling Knight. MKB on its way out now. So there's no durability whatsoever on Ghost at this point. They have to stun lock Smiling Knight somehow. But they also have to take care of the saves in the back. Again, Desire is a major problem with the escape deck. Fly is a major problem with healing coming through. He is working into his Ags next. 500 gold away from having the Shrink Ray Laser. And at that point, everyone's just going to be squishy. Like that HP reduction is just nothing to scoff at.
God, I hate Tinker. I hate this hero so much. It's the worst.
It is.
Well, that Shrink Ray is certainly going to be a huge issue, Jonathan. I mean, if things weren't hard enough as it was for NGX, they're only going to get a little bit more challenging in just the moment. As Avulus, they are just not backing off the gas at all. Tier 2 top tower now under siege. Smiling Knight slowly getting it done with his illusions.
Sumail.
Meanwhile, Fly does get caught by Sumail, who will BKB TP out, but Noob is left behind. He'll BKB TP as well, and looks like he is going to make it. You are at that stage where you've just got to take whatever kill you can get, if you're Nigma Galaxy.
That you do. Again, it's a lot of commitment. Double BKB just for that kill in the Tinker, but you've got to do something to at least stall out a little bit more. Buy yourself some time for Ghost to finally get his items up. SNY is done. Just needs a Morbid Mask next to at least have some lifesteal. Doesn't fix all his issues, but does give some options.
What have they got? Omar? Does not look like he's going to make it out. Drops the macro quickly. Won't really matter too much. He is definitely just dead. Avulus. There are still two T2 towers standing on the map. So they've got to get through those before they can really start to think about going for high ground. Seems like they're going to just chase Noob up the top lane, who has been split pushing the top side of the map. I mean, this is a lot of time being bought for NGX just with these little side pushing plays. Noob now trying to find a way out. Keep in mind he does not have a BKB. Warp Flare is there from Fly. Chain going to be interrupted, and eventually they should have their way as Noob will go down.
It's always funny to watch that shrink race shrink the heroes down. It's so tiny. He was such a tiny guy. He's already tiny enough as a hero anyway. It's the robot that's big. Just gets even smaller. And that's going to be a major nuisance for the side of NGX as this game goes on. No buyback. BKB was committed earlier, at the very least not recommitted here from Noob, but they've got that window open for Avulus. No Timbersaw to dish them damage out with a Fatal Bonds on top, cutting a major source of DPS here from the side of NGX. NGX, for their part, I mean, they're banking on Ghost to recover. At the very least, Omar manages to skip out as well on that top lane. But they need something fast. They need a Satanic to be up and running on Ghost. He needs to be able to turn around after popping that BKB and just kill some heroes, because he really hasn't. He's not really done a lot. He's died 5 times. He's been around for 2 assists. And that's been it. This PA, all this farm going to the hero hasn't been felt just yet, Mike.
It may never get felt, John. We'll have to wait and see. Avulus, tier 3 tower. Almost down. I think Smiling Knight still has that Roshan banner going, but it seems like he is going to commit. Just gets in there, Demon Zeal, that'll do the trick. Of course, he has Fly behind him to keep him safe anyway, so Smiling Knight's not really afraid of anything. Has the Aegis for another 10 seconds. But it seems like he's not going to risk it for the melee barracks. Not enough time on that secondary life. And they've got side lanes to sort out anyway. So time to back off for now. Maybe they'll get started on onto that top tier 3 tower, but again, without the Aegis, I don't know if Avulus really want to risk it. In fact, now it's going to be a smoke from NGX. Through the top lane they'll go. They'll miss out on the Shrine of Wisdom here to Desire. Can they catch him mid-TP? No, they cannot. In fact, Sumail, smoke broken, blinks away. Blinks forward, in fact, trying to go for a kill. Mobay does not get caught, though, and Sumail, oh, he's in big trouble. He will get taken down through his BKB. GH at least going to be able to TP with the Glimmer Cape. But Sumail losing his life like that it's a pretty big deal, John. He's basically the carry for NGX right now.
And he is. Ghost just a little bit too far. In fact, Sumail just too far from the rest of his team with that blink forward. At least Noob is buying some time, being a pesky little Timbersaw as you'd expect. Trying to buy some space from the high ground. Side of Vice is revealed out for Mobe. Another kill onto Noob. And for NGX, I mean, they dropped the Golem there as well to try to bail out Sumail. So your team fight potential now is just kind of shot on the side of NGX. All you can do now is just farm up on Ghost. Almost has the gold for the full Satanic. So again, turnaround play after the BKBs pop, if it ends up being like how we've seen from Ghost, where he BKBs after he's stunned up. At the least, there's some turn, but just doesn't feel like it's going to be enough as the high ground's under pressure again.
Well, it absolutely is. NGX, I mean, how do you defend this? Avulus going right in for that secondary racks. It just feels like NGX do not have a game plan. Just things have gone a bit too south for their safe lane. Sumail is really the only one of the Beastmaster that's had a good game, I'd say, on the side of NGX. At least for this game too so far. There's a Satanic now up onto Ghost. He's got no buyback gold though, so things could get a little bit awkward. They're waiting for Noob to respawn. They don't want to force the buyback. And it is really still only 1 melee barracks that has been taken. And the mid melee is still standing. So if you're Avulus, you might still be tempted to stick around and try to abuse that next metamorphosis to just try and burst that melee barracks down. Smiling Knight will have it in 2 seconds. NGX, they're going to move down south. Epicenter was already committed. They found themselves Sumail, and the Hex is making it impossible for him to survive. It's all up to Ghost now, but there's no damage. There is nothing going on here for Nigma Galaxy. And NGX, they will try to run. Avulus will wave them goodbye. In fact, Sibe still going for a bit of a chase. But they're not going to find anything. So back into the mid-racks they'll go. there is still an outer tower standing down in that bottom lane, so they do have to sort that out. Unless they just want to go for tier 4 towers. That's another way to do it. Seems like without Sumail around, they have no fear here for their TB. Sumail gone for another 50 seconds. No BKB on Ghost to play with. He gets jumped as well. Ravage committed. Ghost cannot escape.
Yeah.
That'll be a game 3, I think, Jonathan, on the menu here today. As Avulus proving that they will not be taken down that easily. Well, I mean, so far, John, the game's not over yet. Smiling Knight will find GH. Tier 4 tower, there's only one left standing. Very, very low. They'll buy back on GH. They're going to try to the bitter end here to NGX. Jump in onto Omar, he's down. Buy back on Omar. Ancient still exposed. Sumail up in 5. Avulus trying to get it done. Half HP, not even quite there yet. Omar, or rather Noob, skipping the creep wave again, but he's in big danger on this Timbersaw, waiting for his BKB to be back up, but he's just stuck there in the dead of the water. He'll buy back. You've got Ghost up in 35 seconds, but Avulus, they're not feeling confident now that they see that Beastmaster. They will retreat with 2 Raxes up.
2 Raxes up. NGX, again, they managed to hang on. Bot tier 2 is healthy. They didn't manage to go for that objective on Avulus. Mind you, they do have a refresh up on Sibe. So double Ravages there for the next fight. Amp damage rune as well to help Smiling Knight in that Roshan. Having their own coverage up here with a refresh shard as well. They hand over. And they're going to be feeling good. Probably don't even need the Megas, just need to bum rush onto the mid. See if that's the option they'll go for, but the lines are drawn. They want to play it safe. They want to take that tier 2. For NGX, again, we talked about it when Ghost jumped in with a BKB. He tried to thwack down on Mobay, but there's just no output. And there really was no damage out from Ghost. He's just... It almost feels like he missed his window. Needs a little bit more to be up and running on that PA, but... There's no room to farm up anymore. He needs the Basher at least for some control. Maybe you start to get lucky with a Stifling Dagger as well. Especially if you hit your level 25 somehow here. The triple Stifling Daggers up. They need to take these team fights smart on NGX. Again, we have to see Fatal Bonds and a nice clump up. You have to have the Macropyre acting on that. You have to have Noob as well on top of the double Chakrams. Trying to just help pump some damage in. Because... you're really not feeling it from Ghost. Again, he has not really had a game, which is so weird to say when your PA is at least, you know, matching third net worth overall, kind of keeping up with Sumail now, but the window was just missed. It's a 0-kill PA at 41 minutes in. That's not a good game for Ghost at all.
No, certainly not. They're going to smoke up as 5. This could be the last-ditch effort here from NGX to try and salvage this game. But he's Smiling Knight now with a full Daedalus up to make matters worse. He is looking very intimidating on this Terrorblade. Here comes the wraparound. NGX from the north. They'll head down to the bottom lane. Noob will have his smoke broken here on Sibe. The Tide, of course, has the Ravage up and actually does commit it. Hitting only 1 so far. Sumail, he's going to jump in with the roar out. I believe that was purged off immediately. Meanwhile, Mbappe with a perfect epicenter. He's found Noob, Omar, and GH. And NGX are falling apart as they finally get Sibe, but what does it matter? Just so much emphasis on trying to kill this Tide every fight. And that's it. GG's called a full wipe and Avulus. They take us to a game 3 here, John.
That they do. They play it really control on Dragon Tail. Ghost did go for Corrosive Dragon as well, not Fire Dragon, which arguably might have been a little bit more helpful in this game, just so that you have the AoE Dragon Tail up. Again, providing some ways of holding people down, which you really don't have. I just don't foresee later on, once Stampede is up, how you kill on the side of NGX. They just run away. And that's literally it. They're just going to be running away from you. Omar has to be a magician with these ice pads, somehow connecting every single time. And that's not an easy call for the Chikira to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea with the Corrosive Dragon is just that they need to outpace Avulus, and obviously that does mean they're going to have to take these early tier 1 towers, but yeah, I mean, certainly a lot of problems here to discuss for NGX, I think, here during this game 3. We'll see how it all pans out, John, because they have smoked up. NGX wrapping around through that Radiant jungle actually do sneak up behind Avulus, who have ended up in the dire triangle. This could be awkward. Sumail, he'll break his smoke. So now they know where each other are. But Avulus, realizing they have that low ground disadvantage, will immediately run away. So Ghost will fight for the bounty, does get it himself. And so a bit of damage being dealt to Smiling Knight. He's going to be just fine. I say that GH actually sticks around for a little bit longer. Will TP. And with that, we do finally get to the laning stage. And it was a 2-for-2 trade on the bounty runes, by the way, John. So apart from all that harassment, it was a pretty even start.
And it is going to be interesting to see how Mobay manages the mid lane. This should be a good lane for Sumail. He does get the value point in Shadow Strike, just to kind of ensure the harassment comes in, get that zoning out from Mobay. But the last time I saw Quap in match was when Quinn was playing it again while we were in America, or that tournament in America. Going into more points of the dagger is going to be a trap. So Sumail should understand that. It should still be about the Scream of Pain. Should still be about lane management. He is getting some good value level 1 here. Already dropping that slaughter low enough to be uncomfy. And like you mentioned earlier on, Mike, a lot of his early tempo is going to have to come out from the Quap. She's going to have to be active early. Sumail's going to have to hit good timing on, say, Dagon Kaya to keep that momentum up. And he's gonna have to work double time up against Mobay. This lane does get more comfy for Mobay as levels go up. You get your value points up in Guardian Sprint. You start to level up the Crush a little bit more. You can punish Sumail if he does stick to that creep wave a little bit too close.
Yeah, absolutely. The GH and Noob down the bottom lane against Smiling Knight and Fly. Seems like things are going pretty decently for Smiling Knight right now. Obviously, Noob and GH looking to amplify things as the levels do come up for the Bristleback. Pretty deadly combination with the Keeper of the Light and the Bristle. You know, you never really run into those mana issues as long as you've got GH around with that Chakra Magic. But you will need those initial levels up first before Noob does try to start getting aggressive. In fact, Smiling Knight actually jumping in for a quick Blink Strike. Trying to really apply that pressure onto Noob while he can. Because at some point it is going to be too late and Noob is going to start just taking over the lane. Eventually.
Not he will. They're doing a great job of just zoning out GH pretty far though. Oh.
First blood's drawn. Ghost. He'll find it this time around on the DK. That's a great start here for NGX.
That's what you want to see. You were talking about tempo, Mike. That's how you kind of set it up on this DK. The Centaur doesn't have the most armor in the world. He does have a lot of HP, so every single time you manage to twack away on Ghost, there's a lot of output that can come in. And it kind of connects nicely with Jakiro and his damage as well, right? With the right click that he does have, even though you don't go for the facet, it does help soften up Sibe to be kind of taken down a notch. So you do have to be concerned. You don't tend to see Escape Act early either, so there's no big saves that you can expect from Desire until later on in the game. And this is how you kind of need to scale up here. Do like that Fly was scouting out already, blocking again these camps in the triangle. Some stacks were already made. And this is going to ensure that the fast farm for Noob isn't going to be there as quick as you'd want it to be. At least you're going to need more sentries here.
Bottom lane Fly's already starting to get so annoying with this much of the machine spam. It's just being able to zone them out. You know, it's just the AoE denial. You know, it just basically guarantees your carrier at least one creep wave. Because you know the enemy can't actually contest while the march is going. So GH going to get started on some stacks, gets a nice D-ward off on the Ancient camp. Noob in the meantime trying to dissuade them from pulling the small camp. Top lane, a pretty clean affair for Ghost. Not really concerned at all about the opposing off lane. Mid lane is actually going very well for Sumail though. He's currently 10 CS ahead of Mobay. So while the Slaughter is still finding the farm in XP, Sumail is having a much better time. In fact, even taking the water rune away from Mobay, but now he's found himself in a bit of danger. But it looks like GH is going to intervene, and now with the Chakra Magic and the lower cooldowns, they want to try, but Mobay is okay. But it's a tough lane here for the Slaughter.
I like this from Sumail. He does go for the level 2 Shadow Strike, but he's not going all in yet. I'm wondering if he's going to go for the level 3 to keep that pressure up, or if he just goes back to the Scream to have that capability to farm, and maybe even a little bit of the burst once he does get his rotations in. Going to hit that timing a little bit earlier. And then Mobe forced to smoke and run into that lane again.
Desire top lane, not going to survive. Omar and Ghost being a real nuisance here at this top lane, as now they'll try and even get more damage onto Zibe, who just needs a TP and cancels it immediately. So there you go. Top lane, again, this time around for Ghost going very well.
And again, it plays into this tempo that you want to have on NGX. They're still doing a good job of tracking you. And the stacks are slowly being taken by the Bristle. They are still maintaining that aggression top, though.
I mean, I appreciate the aggression. They know there's no TP this time. But with Desire around, Ghost does need to play a little bit more cautiously and does require himself to back the hell out of there. But I appreciate just keeping the constant pressure up. Never allowing Zibe and Desire to feel comfortable up at this top lane. And Omar even positioning himself again. Looks like he wants to try and make a move, perhaps on Desire, but Desire did spot him out on that tree line. So Omar will just need a retreat. Bottom lane still going very slowly, by the way, in the meantime. Noob still finding some decent farm here, but Smiling Knight having a much better time on the PA.
And he is. And they, again, they're very consistent with these blocks, well, though.
Flies rotated through the twin gate. Desire's in trouble. Zibe gonna move in as well. Ghost, he's the big target on the Dragon Knight. They'll chase him down now with the Blood Grenade landing as well, but Samel has TP here in the quap. Zibe once again being targeted, but Samel, he's looking for more. They'll find Ghost. Desire with a very nice Scream of Pain dodge. Zibe, does he die? Oh, no, he doesn't. Fly denies him off. So you got Desire, but you lost Ghost. You even lost Omar on top, and the worst part was Zibe. He got denied in the end by Fly.
That's pretty sickening out from Fly, and that's one of the things when you do go for maxing out Shadow Strike, relying on that for your DPS. It is deniable. It gives a window for you to kind of counterplay on Avulus, and they counterplay excellently there. That's a lot of space given out to Mobe to play catch-up on mid. He's managed to soak up into his level 6. Still slow going on the Slaughter overall, but any single time Sumail leaves the lane, Mobe does have some room to breed at the very least. And again, they're managing this fine on Avulus, despite a little bit more aggression coming out from the side of NGX. Again, they're cutting off these resources. They're ensuring that GH has to always have sentries to clear out the camp, to ensure that the stacks can flow. They've done a great job of just maintaining some control in the triangle and impacting the potential catch-up farm or the snowball farm for Noob to find. And one big benefit for the side of Avulus is still that lane for Ghost. Despite the death, he's still up in net worth. He's doing a fantastic job on that DK. He's going for the armlet next. And again, not going for the blink, as he does want to have some sustain, have some output for himself. This is one way to get that done. Setting up now for the 8-minute rune, with 3 heroes from NGX watching mid. No one from the side of Avulus. Only a lone Ringmaster of Desire. So it should be a freebie for some mail. Would be nice if he got something like the amp damage rune, and does get lucky. Does have it up, so should be looking for another fight. Lining up with Sonic Wave coming off cooldown now as well. The issue is just finding a target at this point.
We'll see what they do try for. I mean, if you go into the Radiant Triangle right now, there's plenty of stacks that are currently being taken by Fly and Desire. So it'd be a very nice time to move into there. Noob actually dying on the Bristleback. Meanwhile, Zibe also being chased top lane. Zibe cannot escape from this one. He will die to Ghost. Meanwhile, Samel has made his appearance in that Radiant Triangle. They miss out on the large camp stacks, but they do still have the Ancients that they can try for as Fly now. Well, Samel's not messing around. He said, no, we're not messing with this Tinky hero. Let's get the job done.
Yeah. Just tosses it out. Fortunately for the side of Avulus, the Ancient camp was not bothered at all. So they do still have these stacks to fall back to. And they've got a position here onto Ghost.
He's very far forward trying to get that tier 1 tower damage off. Help incoming. GH is going to be here, and so is Samel, and he still has that amp damage rune going. Mobe, he's the one caught. That's a big target. That's a great start for NGX. Zibe in trouble, will go down. Samel, does he actually die?
Knight.
Smiling Knight, he blink strike right into them. He'll blink strike right back out though, but NGX are not done. Smiling Knight, he's still a bit of a sitting duck. He'll blink strike to the uphill, but the chase continues as Sumail lands the scream, and with that, the Ice Path also committed, but it won't matter. Smiling Knight barely makes it out. Barely.
That is a very risky play coming out from Smiling Knight. Fortunately, Desire is enough to save him with a couple of good Tame the Beasts. No escape act yet. They do bail out, but they managed to get the big pickoffs they'd want on NGX. Timely response out to that rotation in. Sumail, though, loses his courier, so a little bit of time gone without that little circlet up for the additional mana. But you are getting room as well for Noob down bot, right? Like, and Noob's lane down bot has been probably one of the slower ones, considering he gets really easy to kill as well as long as Mobe is around. Without that risk, he's free to farm up. He's got the Vanguard up, which is a start for the Bristle in getting that durability going for himself. And relatively soon, he can start to think about taking these stacks that GH has built up. Although the Ancients is probably still a little bit too much for him to handle at this point. Still looking for the aggression, though. Smoke out with a recall up on GH. Sumail's set to go again onto Sibe, if he's not too careful.
Oh, they're going to fight Fly instead, I think. They'll see the Ancients. Stampede was popped immediately to allow Fly out of that Radiant Triangle, but the Ancients are not safe. Target acquired here for NGX. They'll drop the macro. Just everything. Get rid of those Ancient stack. All cleaned up, Jonathan. I mean, not all of it.
Good
TPs are coming now.
It's a good farm spread as well. It's not all just going to Sumail. Right? Like, you're also sharing that gold out to Omar to get some durability up, working onto the Vis. You get a little bit flowing towards GH as well, and you're seeing some of the power of Recall plus Chakra on a Quap, the lower cooldown and Scream. Can be quite nice. Again, it's not the flashiest thing in the world in comparison to other Chakra magic combos, but it is still a ton of output as well. It bought a lot of space out for them to protect the triangle. And Ghost just gets free reign to push into the tier 1. And again, Noob is uncontested now. So this Bristle is reaching that point where Bristleback is going to get leveled up. You're going to start to really be the tank that this team needs. And it's not like Smiling Knight's close to even considering his shard yet. Not while he has so much more to go for into the battlefield. It's still a ways off here.
Certainly is. BH recalling in Sumail again. He'll find a regen rune for the Quap this time. NGX definitely looking to hunt 3k advantage their way. They really do understand how powerful they are at the moment. Not going to find any targets though. You could find Smiling Knight if they ran directly south, and well, Smiling Knight, he's going to have the help of Fly, who is already TPing in, ready to defend that tier 1 bottom tower. So annoying to try and push into this crap. Sumail trying to find Fly, not going to get so lucky. Maybe they could try for Smiling Knight, but it doesn't really seem like they're going to run into that direction though. They'd rather just focus on this tier 1 bottom tower and eventually get rid of it.
That should open up the movement into that PA a little bit easier once they can get this tower out of the way. And eventually they will. They've got the room. We've still got a solo lane for Ghost, who again is basically uncontested, going for the Mask of Madness next. Isn't too far off from it. And now you've got the full Dagon up for Sumail. So a lot of burst damage on hand, some good spell lifesteal as well to mitigate that Masochist and just allow him to not be as scared when he is popping off his spells up front. You're in a very happy game state for NGX. 3-7, 4k lead. This PA isn't as shut down as Ghost was in the last game for sure, but this is a PA without Battle Fury still. And as long as that's not yet up, then the farm game is still a lot slower for him.
GH caught out and is surely dead, but he's done a lot of damage to Sipe. Here comes the cavalry. Goes to pop the dragon form, looking for a stun onto Desire, but is just out of range. They won't want to go too far. Meanwhile, though, they have caught themselves a Smiling Knight. And the fight continues on the western side of the map. It seems like Fly does finally get caught on the Tinker. He'll still try to walk his way out with the defense matrix, and he is actually healing up so much. Does he die? Finally does go down. But Ghost is going to have to give his own life up for this. That's Tinker for you.
And it is. Good trade back, at least finding that on Ghost. Losing Smiling Knight still an issue. Again, this PA is still not quite at Battle Fury, although it is getting closer and closer. Now you've got Sumail ready to make a move. No Sonic Wave up, but again, with the Dagon and the Scream.
Uh-oh. Yeah, awkward TP there from Zippe. He will use the escape act at the very least. The Omar still chasing, and a Dagon out from Sumail. Gonna get the job done. Desire gonna try for a quick TP play. Not gonna be it though. Well, he does get the TP, and rather the Ice Path will not make it in time. I mean, NGX, they're in complete control of this game 3. There's no two ways about that. Avulus,
Yeah.
it could just be the fact that the NGX draft, it tends to move a lot quicker. You know, you could make the argument that at some point Avulus are going to start to take over if the game goes on too long, but again, NGX for now, complete control for them.
That they are. They're finding this gank squad. It's starting to really get online. You're getting these timings forming up as well, right? Like you've got the Halberd up on Noob, so even if you start to get comfy here on Smiling Knight, the disarm is going to ruin his day. And just these recall plays are starting to really ramp up on GH. Just the sustain, just the lack of fear, the lack of mana concerns out, especially for Sumail, is causing problems. Heck, they just have to TP away from Noob.
Mobay just left. Omar gets caught, but Smiling Knight's also been caught out, and there's just fights going all across the map as Smiling Knight does go down. Meanwhile, they do get Omar, but it's not a good trade here for the side of Avulus as they do lose their pos 1 for support. And Mobay, he was TPing into the fight. He actually got snotted by the bristleback, but didn't cancel his TP. Maybe just assuming Smiling Knight would be able to get away himself. But yeah, that TP rotation, it does cost him the carry.
It's such a bad time for Smiling Knight. It's reminiscent of what happened to Ghost last game, right? Like Ghost was also just trying to find farm down bot, gets ganked up. Ghost was hunted down much more often, to be fair. Smiling Knight is still top net worth for his team, but this Battle Fury is still eluding him. He's still about 220 gold away until the full Battle Fury's up, so his farm pace is just going to be sitting behind. They need to find some space out. They'll get the jump in.
Jumping Sumail. GH is around to help out, but Sumail's in pretty big danger, though the heals do come in just in the nick of time. He'll make it out thanks to GH with that Illuminate. They even consider moving back in, but they decide better of it. They'll leave Avulus alone. All this time, Ghost is just free farming on the Dragon Knight to make matters worse. Like, he's currently 3k ahead of the PA. So Ghost is having a great old game this game 3. So everything just going according to plan. I mean, NGX, you might feel pressured to look for those tier 2 towers soon, but I don't think it's going to be much of an issue for them. Not at this rate.
Certainly not. They've got tempo up. They've got a lot of durability. I'm not seeing the connections you'd want here. Sibe.
Uh-oh. Let's get caught. Noob doing a lot of damage. A lot of minus armor onto Sibe, who's forced to stampede just to get out. Such a bad feeling here for Sibe to have to commit that, but there's nothing else he could really do about it. Now that T2 top tower should be set to go down, but GH, he's hunting Smiling Knight bottom lane. He's bringing somebody in. The TP away is there. Sumail. Oh, there's no TP cancel. They haven't got a Yule Scepter or anything like that on the co-op to ensure they can get these cancellations, but it doesn't really matter. Like, you're forcing the PA away. You get a T2 top tower. You'll take the outpost in the Radiant Triangle. So even though you miss the kill, you're still finding a lot of action.
And you are.
And Fly? Is Fly just dead? Ghost is patiently waiting. Omar is moving in. And believe me, Ghost, he probably does need the help here, John. It is a tinker, but they will get.
Yeah, to catch him out. They're still setting up down bot as well, as Noob is starting to get really tanky. He has a Sange flying out, still ahead of net worth in comparison to Smiling Knight. Smiling Knight is trying to farm into the Ag Shard at the very least. That's going to be one solution up for Noob, but You have to be concerned about everything else. Yeah, cutting off the bristleback is going to be nice. Softening them up, removing that bristleback is good. But what do you do about Sumail? Right? Like, if Sumail's allowed to just dance around, deal his damage with full Kaya up, into the Shivas coming in next, with that sustain coming through from GH, I don't think you have any better of a time. Like, you... Honestly, it does feel like you just ignore Noob. The break is nice, but he's not your concern at the moment. He's not the most farmed. It's Sumail, it's Ghost that you kind of have to contend with right now. And really, Sumail kind of setting that tempo with his Quap. And again, with how spammable her spells become, just by having that Coddle around.
We go chase out from Ghost. He's going to find himself a Ringmaster. A big Desire going down very quickly to Ghost, who's hitting like an absolute truck now on the Dragon Knight. And as much faith as you and I had in this draft of Avulus, Sean, sadly, it's just falling apart for them at the moment. I mean, they've got to try and bide their time, I guess, and try to close this net worth gap a little bit, but it's just getting too big.
And it is.
Like, the difference between Ghost and Smarlight is just still way too big.
It is, and I think one big shortcoming for Avulus is that they didn't get the window to play around with, say, this Corrosive Haze PA combination. Like, you can just murder a hero outright, kind of clean up from there, rinse and repeat, and just kind of keep the farm game going as well. Roshan doesn't take too long for Noob with 6 stacks of Goo up. We'll take it with Ghost with the additional minus armor from Corrosive Dragon. It's funny, you're running Slardar PA, and it feels like this DK Bristleback is doing much more with her minus armor than Slardar PA is, which theoretically is probably the most natural combination for PA to snowball start right off of. But, again, Smiling Knight has not had a game so far.
Literally not. Smiling Knight just gonna have to continue doing what he's doing to give his team a chance back at this game. It's up to NGX how much they want to pressure in the meantime. Ghost might just wait to finish the full SNY off before he joins his team again. Meanwhile, Zippe, unfortunate. Samel will find the freest kill of his life. And speaking of free kills, Smiling Knight's down at bottom lane. He'll find him too. Ghost looking for a stun, not quite there yet, but eventually gets 4-star forward by GH. And Smiling Knight getting taken down for a double kill by Samel. He's 7-0-1 now on the Quap. Perfect game thus far. Fly in the meantime. TP's away top lane, but there's just no safety on this map right now for Avulus. None.
There really isn't. Like, they've got to... They need a way to just play somehow with Corrosive Haze and PA. They need to just burst someone down. Theoretically, it's not that hard. There's some really soft targets in the back. You know, GH, he does have some protection with a Solar Crest up at the least, but the Chikiro can also be manageable, although also having the PVs kind of makes it maybe a little bit of a slower process. They need these BKBs to be up. And Mobe is working on to his. You only lack the recipe on Smiling Knight. Maybe at that point, you can start to make things happen, but your map has shrunk. Tier 2 bot just set to fall. No outer towers left for the side of Avulus off the back of that. Age is still running for another 3 minutes on Ghost. A lot of time to look for a fight into, say, a high ground siege, which will not take that long for a DK. So you need to find something here on Avulus. It has to be off of these BKBs. The pipe that Sibe is trying to work into as well will help out. But there's just not enough farm flowing across the map. It's only really Smiling Knight who's able to really get that build-up you'd want. Everyone else is just being sacrificed for that PA to try to get that scaling going.
Oh, they do bomb, but Bay gets caught by the ice path. They had his number. Samel will take another one for himself. Meanwhile, mid, though, they have caught out the Bristleback. This could be a big turning point with the goal they will get out of this, but here comes Ghost to try and help out, and Noob is just not dying yet. He's still making it out. He finally goes down, but look at Ghost! Oh my goodness! Oh, Ghost just completely wiping the floor with them in game 3. Even Smiling Knight will have to tip over. And with that, they're onto the tier 3 towers. 23 minutes in, I mean, just not much you can do about it. NGX have had the perfect game.
That they have. Look, when you try to jump down this bristle with Snot Rocket, you're just making yourself, again, quite soft. Ghost comes in, he's a Corrosive Dragon, he gets even more minus armor. The cleanup is just no problem whatsoever. 7-20, NGX taking one rack's gonna find another. And you still don't have the big timings you'd want. You have one BKB ready on Smiling Knight at the least, still a ways off from O-Base. And even with those BKBs, will you have enough damage for the Corrosive Haze? It doesn't feel like it's going to be enough just yet.
Well, they're going to force away Ghost. At least for now. No Dragon Form available, so we'll have to wait another 30 seconds for that to be back up. But they do walk away with one lane of barracks. Of course, we are still up against a support Tinker here, John, so the high ground is not going to be that easy while that Dragon Form is not up. But it's a pretty short cooldown, 15 seconds left for it. And it doesn't seem like NGX are intending on moving at all. They dominate pretty much all the map right now. Smiling Knight at least has the bottom side jungle of the map to farm, but he'll have to return very soon. NGX, they're not retreating. There's no need to. You know how advantageous you've got this game in your hands. You just move in. And here we go. Tier 3 tower down. Satanic now up on Ghost. Fly's going to get started with the March of the Machine spam, but it's too late for the mid-racks. It is down. Do they go for the third? Ghost says yes.
There's just no concern. Like, yeah, Corrosive Haze is softening up this DK. He still has plus 13 armor with Corrosive Haze on him. He doesn't care. He's not squishy enough.
Doesn't feel like it. Jump in from a bait. They're going to try, but a beautiful ice palm and the Sonic Wave out. Completely denied here from Omar. So jump fly, the Tinker in trouble. Meanwhile, the Centaur just burning alive. Flies down a bird. Avulus trying to get back to the fountain. But they just hold their ground right in front. Noob just turns his back on the boys. There goes your bottom racks, Jonathan. Props to Avulus, they haven't called it. They're going to play till the bitter end, just like NGX did in Game 2. Give themselves another crack at this. But they are up against Mega Creeps, 26.5 minutes in. Ghost has jumped in. Smiling Light's been caught out. The Ice Path to lock him down, and he is just dead. As they do call the GG. NGX, they do manage a 2-1 victory here up against Avulus. In Game 3, I mean, this draft, you know, whether we liked it or not,